Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can take some time to consider the benefits and learn to understand body language and nonverbal communication. If you follow these videos, what you'll be able to do is essentially read the minds of others very easily, purely through what their body tells you on a subconscious basis, and alongside that you'll be able to understand yourself and the signals you send out and be able to look after things a little bit better. So if you follow this channel, what you'll be able to do is learn how to decipher people whom are attracted to you, people who dislike you, people who are lying to you, and so on and so forth. It really is a superpower, and they don't even know that they're giving you this message, okay? So if you like what you hear and you want to continue keeping up and learning how to read minds, please click subscribe. Moving on. Today's lesson is going to be another very bold signal of attraction, sexual attraction I would say in particular, and submissiveness. It is the exposure of the wrists. So we did a video not so long back, a little talk regarding the exposure of the neck, the sides of the neck, and what that signifies and how that signifies submission. And if you haven't checked that out, please do, as it does link in with this very well. So we're talking about wrist exposure, and this is a displaying of the wrist, a feminine signal of attraction, and can even get into the stroking of the wrist, okay? And now this tends to be on a subconscious basis, so the individual involved may not even be aware of the signal, the very evident signal they're sending you, all right? Now the thing is, men don't pick it up. We don't learn about these things. We're not taught about these things. So to understand this gives you such a great insight as to what's going on ahead of you. All right. So a woman could turn her palms up, exposing the wrists. She can pull the sleeves down on her jacket or her sweater, whatever she's wearing, and expose the wrists. And you will see this regular. You know, when you're dating, or when you're just speaking to people in a general basis, if the individual likes you and feels that submissive urge, that sexual urge, on a subconscious basis, what you will see is the sleeves get pulled down very regular, exposing the wrists. Now, why the wrists? Because the wrists are very, very fragile and delicate and necessary for survival. Okay, so as always, it links to our primitive ancestors and our ancestry, right? We needed to survive. We couldn't expose these vital spots to potential predators, because if we happen to have our wrists cut, if we happen to have our neck cut, it's going to be fatal. It's not going to be good. So if a woman sees you and exposes her wrists to you, she's openly saying, not only am I comfortable with you, but I'm giving myself to you, okay? To a degree. You can take that as you will, but that's what it signifies. It's a submissive gesture, okay? Because if you're a potential predator, she's not going to be putting her life at stake, is she? All right? So let's say you're on a date, yeah, and she wants to go out and have a cigarette, which is a completely different topic on its own, the smoking of a cigarette. I'll let you assume what that may imply. The smoking of a cigarette, yeah? A phallic object. You go out with her to join her. When she's smoking the cigarette, her wrist isn't inwards, but it's outwards facing you. It's a sign of submission, it's an exposure, okay? It might sound silly, but it's things as simple as this. All of these nonverbal indications and behaviors are all very purposeful. Nothing happens without reason. The body works the way it wants to. It's dictated by pleasure and pain and fear and threat, and it all means something, all right? So the delicate wrist is exposed, all right? Now, let's say you go back in, you're back at the table, and you're talking, and you capture something with your peripheral vision, as you're looking at her face, you see her hands are moving, all right? So a section of our brain is purely based on analysing hands, because hands are weapons, aren't they? We started to walk upright, we started to use them as weapons, so it became a survival mechanism to look at hands. We see the hands move. What are the hands doing? Now, a normal person would assume that she's got an itch. No, she's brushing the wrist, the sensitive wrist, which isn't just a pacifying behaviour, as it's covered in nerve endings which would make her feel good and give her good endorphins, but it's also attracting attention. I did a video. Attention is movement. Movement is attention. When you move, you attract attention. Okay? We're animals. So the hand rubs against the wrist, exposing the wrist, making her feel good in the process, but attracts you to that wrist once again. Alright? Sensual, submissive. She might have even sprayed a bit of perfume on there, right? To accent it with brilliant sensory journey for you. Alright? So there you go. You might make her feel a little bit uncomfortable. What happens when you become a bit of a creep? So when you start creeping on her, what's she going to do? She's going to turn her wrist the opposite way around. She's going to get away. There's going to be a threat mechanism that's triggered in her head. The wrist is going to be pulled back. It's not going to be exposed. She might roll the sleeves of her jacket up. You will see that, the rolling up of the jacket to pull back and cover herself. And that doesn't necessarily mean she's not interested in you, but something might have come to mind. She's left the oven on at home. Oh shit. So she's going to pull that sleeve up because her mind isn't going to be based on being weak at that point. She needs to go sort stuff out. Alright? So there's so much to take into consideration. You have to look at the clusters of behaviour. So as you start watching all of these videos I'm putting out, you're going to start to see the full picture. I'm only just isolating these behaviours at the moment in time. Alright? In men, flashing the wrist and loosely bending the wrist is seen as effeminate. Alright, it's a submissive feminine behaviour. Simple. I spoke on the last video regarding the neck. So the woman exposed the neck, which is on parallel with the wrist. It's a very sensitive, necessary area which can't be attacked. You can't put yourself under that risk. So not only has she exposed the neck, but her hand has come exposing the wrist. That's 2 in 1. Okay. So take that into consideration. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you learned something from today. And if you enjoyed the videos and you enjoyed the information, please feel free to click subscribe. I would like to give you more information and allow you to see the world through the eyes of what really goes on. Thank you very much. Everyday Superpower. Goodbye.